Hi, I'm Graciela Casillas, and I've been involved in the martial arts for approximately 25 years. Although originally I started in the traditional arts, studying Taekwondo and Hwarangdo, I eventually became a professional competitor, and I was the first athlete to become world champion in boxing and kickboxing. In the early 80s, I started shifting my focus from competition to teaching, and it was at that point in time that I started questioning what I was learning and wondering how it would work in the street. So I started evolving my own system and training with different people, and what I'd like to do today is present some of my concepts as far as self-defense and what really works in the street. Even though I've had years of experience, I have found that it's most important to keep it basic and simple. Now, studying a tape is obviously no substitution for going to a school and actually learning self-defense. However, what I'd like to do is at least share these concepts with you so that you know what's available out there and that you know that you can learn. And the first thing I would like to address is self-defense should be viewed on three levels. First of all, the psychological. Okay? When I refer to the psychological, what I'm referring to is your personal belief system. And most people make the mistake of starting with the physical. It doesn't do you any good to learn hundreds of techniques or even acquire a black belt in various systems if you're not prepared mentally to deal with a violent situation. So what I like to do is address the psychological before we get to the physical. Okay. Psychological refers to how you think of yourself. Are you prepared to defend yourself if you found yourself in a violent situation? When I say are you prepared, I'm asking you to look at yourself, and you almost have to assess your own belief system and ask yourself, could I actually bring myself to gouge somebody's eye, or can I kick him in the groin, or if need be, could I escalate to using lethal force against somebody that was trying to take my life or to violently hurt me? That's a very important question, because it's not something that you can study at the point that you're having to defend yourself. That's a decision that has to be made prior to ever finding yourself in an altercation. So first of all, you need to really ask yourself, am I worth it? Okay, do I deserve to survive this situation? Does anyone have a right to put their hands on me, assuming you don't want them to? If the answer is no, then you have to be prepared to fight back. And when I say fight back, I don't mean just consider, okay, what to do, what not to do. I mean closing the distance from 1 to 100 like that. You need to quickly react. Okay? So again, psychological, how do you perceive yourself? If you're the type of individual that might find it hard to fight back, to be vicious at a moment where your life might depend on it, then you need to ask yourself, if I'm not prepared to fight back for myself, am I willing to fight back for someone else? So you have to dig deep inside of you and find a reason for living. It may be your child, it may be your husband, maybe your pet dog, I don't know, but you need to find a reason for living. So if you dig deep inside of yourself and you find that, that's where your willpower will come from, your will to survive. And I think it's more important for people to have that willpower than it is to have 5 black belts. And I would put my money on that person first before I would on a world champion that does not have the right psychological and mental attitude. Especially if you're a woman. Oftentimes we think that, oh, you know, if we're a woman, we're smaller, we're not as powerful, you know, if a man attacks us, we don't really have a chance. Unless we find an equalizer, maybe we have a knife, maybe we have a gun. Not so true. If you have the will to survive, it's a lioness within you. It's a lioness that protects her cubs while the lion is out taking a nap somewhere. Okay, so it's a lioness within you, and you can tap into that by having, if you've had training and if you have certain information available to you, you'll learn, and through learning you will build the confidence to fight back. And that's very critical. So once you feel self-assured and feel that you have the potential to fight back, then you have to address the mental aspect of self-defense. Okay, when I refer to the mental aspect, I'm not referring to, oh, concentration, you know, close your eyes and just focus. What I'm referring to is the acquisition of information. And what does that mean? That means that you need to learn what's out there. You need to get information. You need to learn. When people tell you that you need to be aware of your environment, what exactly does that mean? Does it mean that you, notice the flowers and go, oh, wow, these flowers are beautiful, or you notice the sun? No, it means that you learn to observe for a purpose. Okay? Observing for a purpose means that you understand what to look for, that you can read potentially dangerous situations. And it's a fact that many situations that have escalated to the point that a woman has been raped or maybe even killed, or an individual's been attacked, could have been prevented if that individual would have been able to read the situation. And that's also a concept which we refer to as pre-assault assessment, assessing a potentially dangerous situation. In order for you to be able to do that, you have to know what to look for. And how do you learn what to look for? Well, there's certain things that we're going to go over later in the tape where we'll teach you how to read a person, how to read a potentially dangerous situation, and more important, how to carry yourself so that you don't attract an attacker. Because it's also a proven fact that if someone is seeking another person out to attack them, they're going to look for an easy target. They're not going to look for a person who's walking confidently and seems to exude the self-assuredness. They're going to look for someone that is either caved over, displaying body language that says, I'm submissive, attack me, basically. So that's also very important, that you learn how to carry yourself, that you be aware of your own body language, but you also be aware of the other individual and know what to look for, whether it's how they're dressed, basically to be able to read a potentially dangerous situation. The other aspect of mental preparation is that you learn, once you're training and you're learning physical tactics, that you do rehearse, that you do utilize what we refer to as mental rehearsal as well as physical. But mental preparation is critical, and it goes hand in hand with psychological preparation.